Now we will look at the RAG implementation example using SQL search. Let us first see how we will proceed on this one. Now step 1 is same as before. We will need to log into Colab to execute our Python code. Step 2 here is different in this example. Now we need to get access to Gemini API key. We will use Gemini model from Google in this case and access it directly using API key rather than going through Hugging Face. To get this API key, we need to follow few steps. First, we need to sign up for Google Cloud using our Gmail or Google account. As soon as we sign up, we get $300 in free credits to work out our examples. Then we have to go to Google Cloud and enable Gemini API. And finally, we need to go to Google AI Studio to get the Gemini API key, which we will use to access the Gemini LLMs. Step number 3. We will again write small piece of code to see if our API key works and we are able to get the completion from Gemini. Once this is working, we will upload the IT knowledge base.xls in Colab. Remember, this is the XLS which had issue and solution database. You can use Google Sheets, which comes free with Gmail account, to create this database. Now, once this is done, we will start working on our retrieve, augment, and generate code. So, step 5 is to write the Python code to retrieve the solution from the knowledge base XLS using the user prompt. Then the code to augment user prompt with this possible solution. And finally, the code to send this updated prompt to the LLM to get step by step instructions. All right, let's go through this example now. First, let's go to the Google Cloud account and sign up. You can go to cloud.google.com and click on Get Started for free. As soon as you do this, it will ask you to verify some of your account information. Here you will also see the $300 in free credits that they will provide once we sign up for the Google account. We click on Agree and Continue. Now, as soon as you do it, it will ask you to create a payments profile. We will have to enter our credit card number so that we can create a payment profile. But don't worry, Google won't charge you anything without asking. Still, if you are worried, do not proceed further. Do not enter your credit card number. Once you create the payments profile, you have to click on Start Free, and that's where you will get to this screen. Now, don't click on Activate Full Account yet. This will happen only after your trial ends, and it clearly says you won't be auto charged once your trial ends. However, the resources are marked for deletion, which is fine by us. We are just trying out few examples. Once this is done, you are all set. The next step now is to enable the Gemini API. You have to click on My Project, go to APIs library, and you can search for Gemini. So you see the Gemini API, click on Gemini API, click again on the Gemini API here and say enable. Now you are all set to generate the Gemini API key. For generating the key, you have to go to Google AI Studio, aistudio.google.com. First time, you will get consent confirmations. Once you do this, you are all set. And then we get the API key. You click on Get API Key. You can click on the Create API Key. And it is generating the API key now. All right. So it has generated the API key. So we are copying this key and we will store it in the safe place to use it in our code later. Now, for step number three, to try out whether we are able to access the Gemini model using our API key, we'll come back to Colab and type out the Python code, a simple code to connect to Gemini model using Gemini API key. Here's the code. Let's go through this. As we saw, we will first import the requests library. We have the API endpoint defined, and then we will write a small function in this case to call the Gemini model. We will provide the headers and the payload. The payload is basically where we provide the prompt. We then send a post request to get response from the Gemini model. And finally, we parse this response. So what we are doing here is we are using a prompt called as what is AI, a question basically to the Gemini model, and calling the call Gemini method here. Let's see what it returns back. So our prompt to the Gemini model returned back the completion from Gemini giving details about artificial intelligence. Okay, so now we are ready to move to the next steps. As the next step, we have to create a sample knowledge database XLS, which has few columns like issue, cause, and a solution. We put in few issues and their solutions, and we save this file and upload it to Colab. Here you see the file is uploaded to Colab. We just have to drag and drop from our local machine into the Colab environment. Okay, now we will write the code to read the file, the retrieval portion. Here's the code. Let's go through it. We need some additional libraries which we add in the install portion. Then we import those in our code. We start with the user prompt or the problem statement that the user has stated. So we'll assume that the front end application is sending this to the application layer, and here we have it in our code as a problem statement from the user. Now we will load the XLS in our Python code. So we have given the file path, we have already uploaded the XLS over here, and the code will read the Excel. We will read the issue as well as the solution columns. And wherever it finds the word heat, because that's the one we are searching for right now in our example, it will get the corresponding solution so that we can use it in the updated prompt. So you see here, we are doing the retrieval part of RAG. Now you can do that using any SQL database. You can use multiple SQL queries. The idea remains the same. First, you retrieve relevant information. Once we have retrieved that relevant information, we update the prompt using that information. So basically, we are augmenting the prompt. As you see here, we have augmented the prompt with problem statement and a possible solution. And then we are asking the LLM to give us step by step instructions using this problem statement and a possible solution. Once we have augmented the prompt, now the last step is to call the Gemini model and get a response. That code remains the same as we saw previously. Only thing is we are now sending the updated prompt to the Gemini model. Let's see what it returns. We got a response back. See, what LLM has done is it used the problem statement and a possible solution that we had retrieved and augmented the prompt with, and provided detailed step by step instructions as to what needs to be done by the user to ensure that this problem doesn't occur. So, we had just given the possible solution and checked the task manager and update drivers. Based on this, the LLM could generate detailed instructions to the user for carrying out these two tasks. So, this simple example explains how we can implement retrieval, where we are retrieving the relevant data, augmentation, where we are augmenting the user prompt, and generating the response based on the updated prompt. Cool. Now you can try out several examples using this same pattern on your own. In the next lecture, we will see RAG implementation using similarity search.